Hello, good evening. Welcome back to Jonesy Chats Wrestling. Only a quick video. It's only going to be for like the next 10-15 minutes, just discussing all the releases. Really kind of devastated by the releases today. Yeah, it's hit us kind of hard here on the channel. I cannot believe the releases in WWE. WWE are having their most profitable year ever, yet they're releasing these wrestlers willy-nilly, like they've got nothing going on. Really kind of disappointing. Let me know kind of in the comments what you think when we look at this. Let's go through some of the names we've got released here. So, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, Everrise, Ariya Daivari, Augustus Gray, the Singh brothers, Arturo Rios, Marina Shafir, Curt Stallion, and Killian Dain. Really kind of dark. When we look at kind of them names, you look at Tyler Breeze. This guy obviously never really had a chance on the main roster. Really talented. He's done the best he can with Breezango. Fandango, this is another guy here previously that won and beat Chris Jericho back at WrestleMania 29, and they've not done anything with. And we can keep going through this list. There's numerous wrestlers on this list that have never really had a fair chance. And I just think, yeah, it's really kind of disappointing. You really want to kind of get behind the company, WWE, but then why are they cutting these wrestlers? What is the benefit of that? I know we've got some big contracts to pay out and stuff like that. Clearly, Becky Lynch has just signed a new deal. Brock's probably coming back at some point. John Cena's coming back, but why do you need to cut the wrestlers? I get that you're going on the road. There is going to be some sort of cost to that. It is going to be more expensive than looking at just normal kind of other shows, if that makes sense, where you haven't got fans and presence, stuff like that. But for me, when we look at this, the most shocking of the releases for me, it's either going to be probably Fandango or of Killian Dain. Killian Dain, obviously, he was in the tandem with Drake Maverick, used quite a bit in NXT, kind of been used as the comedy big guy, if that makes sense, but they've never really kind of done anything with him. I'm just really kind of disappointed. You really got to kind of hope that they do something like this, if that makes sense. I just really sort of hope we get something a bit more better than this, if that makes sense, because I think the fans are the ones that ultimately suffer with this, because we get behind this company, the company just continually takes sort of all the stuff, if that makes sense. But I'm just really kind of disappointed, just sort of hoping that this is the end of it, but really sort of disappointed. Like, look at Arturo Rios, for example. We break these down. Arturo Rios, this guy was great in Raw Underground, never kind of got a chance to do anything else. Marina Shafir, everyone thought she was in Diamond Mine, never really got looking. And we look at Curt Stallion as well. Curt Stallion, another one that I thought maybe could have been a modern day version of Texas Tornado. He's another one that didn't get a chance. When we look at this, apparently Nick Khan is the one that's been behind the releases. He's the one ultimately trying to drive the budget down and stuff like that. Just really kind of disappointed. I'm going to go to the comments. Alicia Serchi, hi, thank you for checking out the video, Alicia. I hope you're well. Yeah, just obviously really love what we think about the releases. Just very disappointing. And this hopefully is an end to the Carl and stuff. With them going on the road now, 205 Live obviously seems to be cut. It's just a joke. Like, I get that maybe they think they fire 5 or 6 wrestlers, it pays for one person's contract, but you're just so disappointing. Like, you want to see WWE do sort of keep reward the wrestlers that have been there when the fans haven't been there, but to cut them at this point. I saw that the writer obviously went earlier as well. And sort of, it's one of the things where I get that she obviously didn't know what wrestling was and stuff. She took the job, but they're just cutting everybody and anybody, really. Like, it just gets to this point now when nobody is safe. The only people that are safe are probably Roman Reigns and stuff like that. I just think it's really kind of disappointing, really. What is the point of it? You look into this, you can't really get behind these wrestlers because at any moment they could be cut as well. I just really kind of disappointed with it. I think hopefully in time, we may get some stability and stuff like that, but Nick Khan has been kind of ruthless. Looking at who they've released already this year, we lost the Iconics, we lost Braun Strowman, we lost so many people that are fan favourites, and there's real fear of who goes next, though. So, going to the comments, Shantu Rowa, do you think a big release is coming? No, I don't think a big release is coming. I think today was all about cutting NXT and 205 Live. I'd be surprised if anybody bigger comes. I think WWE realizes going back onto the road with fans again. Obviously, July, they're going to be back in front of fans, Money in the Bank and stuff like that. SummerSlam is due to be a big card this year. It's going to be under 3 hours. There's going to be about 8 matches and stuff like that from what I've heard. No, I don't think that they're going to release anybody big. I think they are cutting minor people as such. They look at it as minor people to save money, to basically to make sure, A, that they can pay out for a bigger kind of person, if that makes sense. No, that's kind of the only thing with this. I was going to say that it just baffles me. You want to sort of get behind these wrestlers. You look at 205 Live, and these are all wrestlers that haven't done anything wrong. WWE just didn't use them right. And the fact they're taking out these trial out, they're obviously taking wrestlers out on a tryout continually. They sign on these wrestlers continually, yet they fire people. It wouldn't surprise me if half these wrestlers do end up going to sort of somewhere else, or if they get re-signed on a lower contract. So let's go through the wrestlers and see where we think they're going to end up going. So Ariya Daivari, obviously relative to Sean Daivari, great cruiserweight wrestler. For me, would be great in Impact Wrestling. Could see him in the X Division. I think him and Rohit Singh would be a good match as well. Tony Nese, former cruiserweight champion. This guy, for me, great talent, never got used. He's another one really that would be great. Fandango, obviously one that he's had some great history. His previous character as Curtis was quite good as well. He's another one I'd like to see go to TNA. I think he could be good, or Impact Wrestling. We look at the other one as well, Everrise. Everrise, obviously, they had something this past week they were used on XT TV, and they had that angle with Hit Row, yet they're released today. It's crazy. Why would you build an angle up and then release them? I know they lost. Augustus Gray didn't really kind of do anything. Thought he could have been a good fit. Potentially in Diamond Mine, could have done something good, never used. Carry on going with this. So Tyler Breeze is another one that hasn't really had a fair shot. He's obviously been a good tag team wrestler and stable wrestler, never really got that chance. The Sim Brothers, another one, more tag teams on 205 that don't get a look in. They're willing to push Jinder's team, yet they don't give the Sim Brothers any sort of look in or any sort of chance. Obviously, going back to places like probably sort of Indian stuff like that later in the year. Obviously, WWE in India is a huge following, for understand. Millions and billions of people watch the fans. You would have thought that they would get behind this Indian talent to push. Arturo Rios, some great moments in Raw Underground last year. Always thought it was a bit like a cross between Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock. Never really kind of got that. Marina Shafir as well. She's one that obviously had that great talent. Never really kind of got looking either. And for me, as I said earlier in the video, I think she should be part of the Diamond Mine. I thought they were going to go down that road. Very similar to Jasmine Duke that got released. These are people that are just not using. And Curt Stallion as well. Curt Stallion's obviously another one that never really got used, but that's the problem with WWE. How do you kind of get behind this, and how do you get behind this roster when they just kind of release people constantly, if that makes sense? We could say on a positive, it's not Keith Lee, it's not other people, but then it isn't a positive. These are people that are losing their job. Luckily, the wrestling industry is very bright at the moment. There's a lot of places to go. We've got AEW, we've got NWA, we've got MLW, we've got lots of places where these guys can go. Just going to kind of go to the comments here. Shantu Roa making budget for Lesnar. I agree, it is a budget for Lesnar. Lesnar's going to want mega money to do this match with Lashley at some point. You've got to pay out John Cena. This is John Cena that's just been in Fast and Furious. This is a guy that's going to want loads of money to come back. We look at this comment here, NXT Steve. Thank you for commenting, Steve. Seems like they've just got rid of old talent on old contracts. I can't imagine a lot of the new roster are on the same as what release stars were guaranteed a year. Prime example of that, Steve, is Samoa Joe. He got released. He's come back on a lower deal. They want to cut wrestlers and bring them back on a lower fee. These inflated contracts, gone are the days of WWE want to keep wrestlers. They're not scared of people go to AEW. Back in the 90s, you wouldn't have seen somebody like a sort of Stone Cold Steve Austin be released to come back on a lower contract. They just don't do that, if that makes sense. The Bin Buster, I wonder if Breeze will still be on the up, down. You got to hope so. Didn't Jasmine Duke get released? She was doing up, down, but she still does it. You got to hope so. I don't know how that would kind of work though if he kind of does get that chance, but it's a shame for the YouTube channel. Sealish Dog, Jonesy Chats Wrestling, you spelled Killian Dain. It's not Killian Dain, it's Killian Dain. Yeah, I probably should have. I was just rushing to get the stream up as well. NXT Steve, they had factions. All this unused talent would at least have something to do and have a reason to have them on screen. I agree, but then NXT have got multiple factions which they're not using. They've got more factions than anything that can happen. They've got more factions than AEW. You've got so many factions on the go, but this is what you do when you don't know what you're doing. You've got no plans there. All they've got is the basics lined up, so they know what Bobby, they know what Drew are doing probably and stuff like that, and Roman, but the rest of them don't. Teenage Dog, Joe Chats Wrestling, Alexa Bliss, this gimmick is fun. Alexa Bliss fans, this gimmick is awesome. Boy fans, when will this gimmick end? Yeah, as I said, Alexa Bliss, she's obviously struggling at the moment. She's obviously got new music this past week on Raw. Looks positive. They're going to get her away. She's obviously stuck in a limbo till Bray comes back. Bray is back soon, so we'll see what kind of happens here. DC Wrestling, I wonder what Drake Maverick's going to do now. Probably get bullied. That's the thing. Drake Maverick, for me, he's obviously kind of lost momentum ever since he did that promo where he did get released and he was crying and stuff like that. He's never kind of recovered. He's the comedy small man now. Maybe he'll go to 205 Live. Maybe he'll be numbers and stuff like that. If you could do me a favor, though, please drop a thumbs up on this video. I will be ending the video in the next kind of 5 minutes. This is only a quick video, impromptu, just obviously with the release and stuff. NXT Steve, Breeze could go to AEW to help with the development of their up-and-coming game. Yeah, he could do that, potentially. Obviously, this guy's a gamer, as you said. Obviously, WWE have got no fear of these guys going elsewhere. That's the thing. They don't look at Tyler Breeze going somewhere else. Out of all the people they've released tonight, none of them are going to go to AEW and change the ratings. They're not going to bring WWE down in any way. That's a shame. But it's just really, really kind of disappointing. You look at it like this, that these people put themselves out there, they risk their life and stuff, and it's just Nick Khan all over. Nick Khan is an absolute ruthless for this. This is the guy that did the Peacock deal, and he's just got no real care for the talent, if that makes sense. What's denationalized? So denationalized obviously would be that where it just basically means they're not competitive. If you look like this, you look at denationalized, it's not competitive, if that makes sense. Why have WWE released a lot of people? They do most of the time because they just want to save. They want to release 5 talents to pay for one Brock Lesnar probably, or they want to pay for one Finn, if that makes sense. They want to protect the main people. Fans are back. Going on the road is more expensive. They've saved a load of money being at the Thunderdome or the Performance Center, the Union Center. They've saved loads of money. Going on the road is expensive again. Producing Raw every single week in front of a different crowd is expensive. That's kind of why they've done that. But it's not good. We're going into obviously SmackDown tonight as well. So going into that, it's disappointing. Any releases are not good, but it's one of them things. I just think it's very, very disappointing for all of us as fans. And I just got to hope that this is the end of it. Obviously, we heard releases earlier. And it's just one of them things. I would recommend you guys check out the podcast where the writer got released. I will get her name in a second because that was obviously kind of bad. I kind of get that she did that. So I'll get her name as well up in a second. And it's just kind of one of them things where WWE obviously hired a writer. The writer had never seen WWE before. And then what then happened is they then obviously fired her as well, which is just obviously one of the things. It's just so bad. But I just think it's just interesting to see where we'll be in 6 months. Is the Cruiserweight division even going to exist? The only Cruiserweight title we've obviously got is an NXT. So maybe the NXT wrestlers in the Cruiserweight division will become 205 Live. And we just want to sort of hope that the talent land out there and do something for that. Apparently gutting 205 Live was not one of the plans NXT had to further emphasize the Cruiserweight division. And you just got to look at it like this. I think it's one of the things where we hope that they make wise moves, but this isn't. The writer was called Kenice Mobley. She was on that podcast, and basically she didn't know who Bobby Lashley was, and she didn't know who the Hurt Business were. She didn't know what wrestling was, and it was a big song and dance. And they only hired her because she had a history in writing, but she'd never even seen a wrestling match. And then she publicly said that, so it's no wonder she fired. You never want to see anyone get fired, but it's crap. I'm going to end the video here. So this has been Jonesy. As always, if you can, please drop a thumbs up on the video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I wish it was in less circumstances of doing this video, but it's quite late. I've got work in the morning. I'm going to drop it, but I hope you enjoy SmackDown. Thank you for watching, as always. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.